Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra and Kumasi. It's on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We are on Pad FM in Dalmongo, Radio Wa in Wa, Dreams FM in Bolga, Tanga, Clenham Radio in Bato. You can also go digital on Spotify, myjoyonline.com app, also live on Facebook in this edition. Poor execution of crowd control operation by the police. This afternoon we hear from the head of the Ghana Muslim Mission, who is accusing police of forcing themselves onto the Islamic SHS campus to allegedly hunt down students and teachers, some of whom were not even part of the Monday morning protests.
Shooting, fire, chasing the children to even their dormitories and so forth. They beat them. Eyewitness. Do you have to climb the gate? Do you have to push the gate by force to come? Teachers who want to intervene and so forth, some of them, you even arrested them.
As full-scale Police Professional Standards Bureau investigations get underway, Acting Ashanti Regional Police Commander DCOP Kwesi Akomia Preku, Regional Operations Officer ACP George Ankuma, amongst others, have been asked to step aside.
I also want to assure you that whatever happened in terms of the policing aspect of it, we are going to look into it.
We have details of that also this afternoon. Child Rights International takes on government for what it says is the poor implementation of the school feeding program. Following report, pupils are being fed with poor meals.
Today they have not cooked, so I'm hungry.
The soup is not ready. You eat the soup and leave only the banku. That's what I'm saying. We are not satisfied.
And guess what? Bread is becoming more and more difficult to afford. And that's in our latest Living Standard series.
You enjoy 1 CD. This is a 2 CDs, 3 CDs.
Formerly, I buy like 4 or 5, but now I reduce it to 2.
And this afternoon, also more pain for motorists plying the Accra-Tema motorway as they are compelled to sit in traffic for hours.
The traffic is too much. The government should do something for us. In fact, there is a lot happening in this country.
And also, Supreme Court maintains injunction against Asin North MP James Jachikwesing. I have details of that also in sport. And what did you miss whilst growing up, and how are you ensuring your child does not miss same?
I didn't have that privilege growing up with my dad, talking to him every day, and it was more like a yes sir, master situation. But I've given my children the opportunity to come to me anytime.
Happy Father's Day to you.
And we'll hear from gospel artist MOG on his real daddy code as we gear up for Father's Day this Sunday. That and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Please stay for details. You made the right choice. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. This afternoon, Joy News has been told how police officers allegedly forced themselves onto the campus of Islamic SHS Monday morning to hunt down students and teachers who are dispersed from the protest. The Ghana Police Service had earlier admitted its men used pepper spray and fired warning shots to disperse the crowd, only because the students pelted stones at them. But this afternoon, it is emerging that the police officers actually chased the students from outside the school campus, scaled walls, and went past a security post in pursuit of the students who were now running for their lives. We have a blow-by-blow account on this from head of the Ghana Muslim Mission on what happened for you shortly. But first, Ohiming Teria of our security desk has more from that incident.
Hundreds of parents besieged the school premises in an attempt to seal their walls following news of the police-student clash. But they were left disappointed as police denied them access.
They should give us access to our walls. They will have to kill me as well if anything bad happens to my daughter.
They raised concerns over the school authorities' handling of the matter and threatened to take action against them.
Why should you allow students under your care to demonstrate? I have 3 kids in this school. They are all asthmatic. Should anything bad happen to them, school authorities and police will regret their actions.
The Inspector General of Police, George Akufu-Dampare, who visited the school and some affected students in hospitals, promised to look into the conduct of police officers detailed to maintain law and order in the school.
I also want to assure you that whatever happened in terms of the policing aspect of it, we are going to look into it and take all actions that need to be taken to ensure that at the end of the day, the right thing is done, professionalism is deepened in a manner that will not create a situation that will put the life of anybody at risk. We are here to protect life and property, and if we cannot do that, then we might have failed in our duties, in our mandate.
Reverend Intim Fojo, who led a delegation from the Education Ministry to visit students on admission at the St. Teresa's Government Hospital, says the incident at the Islamic Senior High School will be investigated.
Every incident that occurs in every institution under the Ministry of Education and GS, however minor it is, deserves attention, deserves looking into. Perhaps if there are some lessons going forward. And so on those premises, we are interested to know and to ascertain the facts beyond what we have seen, what happened, if there are some underlying matters that need to be addressed, so that we don't just gloss over the incident here.
Meanwhile, calm has been restored as agitated parents leave the school. It is, however, not clear when normal academic work will resume.
And that's my colleague Ohiming Teria. He joins us shortly with the latest update on this. But this afternoon, the Ministry of Education says the situation has returned to normal. My colleague Manuel Cranton joins me in studio with details of a statement released by the ministry. Manuel, walk us through the statement.
Also, Emefa, the statement which is under the hand of the spokesperson of the Ministry of Education, Kwesi Kwarteng, says that the Ministry of Education had been duly briefed on the unfortunate incident that occurred on the campus of the Islamic Senior High School in Kumasi, Monday, June 13, 2022. It resulted, and here are specific details of student admissions at the various hospitals. 38 students seeking medical attention and temporary disruption of academic work. Out of the 38, 22 have been discharged as of the end of Monday and have joined their colleagues on campus. This leaves a remainder of 16 students who are currently still on admission, according to the statement released by the Education Ministry just this morning. On behalf of the Minister for Education, Dr. Yaosei Duchum, Deputy Minister of Education, John Intim Fojo, accompanied by the Ashanti Regional Director of Education, Mayor of Kumasi, and Charles President, visited the affected students at the various health facilities and also address the student population. It goes on to, call for calm and assure that indeed full academic activities are resuming.
Okay, let's head to the campus there and check on the status, whether indeed calm has fully been restored. My colleague Ohiming Teria is there for us. Ohiming, tell us about the situation on campus today.
Thank you, Emefa. The campus is calm. I must say students are going about their normal duties here as teachers resume teaching. So what it means is that the classroom, compared to yesterday, which used to be empty, today is filled with students as the teachers teach them. A while ago, we were told by the Deputy Education Minister, Intim Fojo, that the students will be writing their end of term exams today, and which he says the students have the right frame of mind to tackle the exams today.
But you also got to interact with the Ghana Muslim Mission. He's been telling you how this incident actually occurred. Give us details.
Yes, according to State Dr. Ami Bonsu, who is president of the Ghana Muslim Mission, a lot happened yesterday, taking into consideration how the police officers who were detailed to maintain law and order entered the school premises at the time that the school's main gate had been locked. He says some of the officers tried to scale the school's main gate, and forced themselves into the compound, chased the students who, at that time, some had even arrived at their dormitories and then classrooms areas.
I wonder why few of them, I will not say all of them, because it is only the criminals who don't like police, you see. So, but few of the.
Well, we'll get details of that. Apologies for this. But he's also been telling you, or him, about how the students were assaulted without provocation. Give us details.
Yes, Dr. Amibu said some of the students were assaulted at a point, and even when their teachers tried to intervene, 5 of the teachers were arrested and detained, and it took the intervention of the visiting IGP, Dr. Joy99.7FM, to release these teachers who were still in police custody.
Well, that's my colleague, Ohiming Teria. We'll try again if we're able to bring you that sound. Okay. Well, but let me bring in a member of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament, Peter Lanchini-Tobu, on this. He's a former police person as well, so he can give us details of exactly how the operations should have been done in this particular case. We are grateful for your time here on the Midday News. So, reading that police statement, it mentions that they fell short of their standard. From where you sit, at least you've been there before, what exactly should have been the standard in this particular situation?
Thank you very much, my dear sister. Good afternoon to our cherished listeners. When police talks about standards, these are established procedures that has proven over time to be very useful. That when you are going to a scene of a riot, or you are going to a scene that has to do with public order issues, the first thing that you have in your mind is to de-escalate the situation. In the spirit of de-escalation, you don't use tools and weapons that can worsen the situation. And that is why I think that the IGP was fast enough to say, I think that as an institution, we got it wrong. Who are they? If you do the background analysis as to the intelligence behind the operations that you are sanctioning, these are students. And the students are not actually having a confrontation with school authority. No. The students are demonstrating publicly outside school campus, drawing attention to every Ghanaian that there is something untoward happening. And they are thinking that the Minister of Roads and Highways should step in there. The Minister of Education should step in there. It was not actually a security matter. But you see, without security, nothing works in this country. A common demand, right, for speed ramp has gradually degenerated into a security situation, getting the Inspector General of Police himself to go to Kumasi yesterday. I think that these are some. When you talk about standard, the standard basically is summarized into one thing. Go to that place and ensure that you de-escalate the tension and get the students back onto campus, and we'll begin to look into the reasons behind their expression of aggression.
Okay. Well, the concern, at least I've heard some also raise 2 key issues. Why the IGP himself had to go down to that level, and then also the training for junior and senior leaders. We know that under IGP Al-Hassan, for instance, there was the establishment of the GP Command and Staff College at Winneba for such training. Whatever happened to those?
Thank you very much. When you talk about public order management, it is actually the duty of a specialized unit we call the Form Police Unit, which was formed by Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Al-Hassan. In fact, it was Dr. George Akupo Dampare at the time, who was Commissioner of Police, who was directed by the Inspector General of Police to go and convert or transform the then Armored Car Squadron into the now Form Police Unit, and they are specializing and continuously specializing in the dealing with public disorder. So if you are talking about crowd, it should be Form Police Unit. But after the training at the Command and Staff College level, it is generic to produce leaders for the Ghana Police Service. If it is about a specialized operational need, in fact, it is the Form Police Unit that has the mandate to go in there and do professional job without the use of live ammunition.
We're grateful for your time. That's a member of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament, Peter Lanchini-Tobu. Well, the matter has become topical in Parliament, with the Speaker, Alban Bagbin, declining to order a parliamentary investigation into the disturbances. We can hear from Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak calling for that parliamentary probe.
Another batch of police officers came. And when they came and got down, the Speaker, according to the first-hand information from the school authority, they broke through the school gate, entered into the school campus, and while the headmaster was drawing the attention that, look, the situation is under control. We are now within the school. They will not take that. They started firing tear gas. And I think that this lack of professionalism from the police, or some of the police, or those police who went there, the Speaker, should not just be left to the police administration to deal with.
Parliamentary correspondent Kweku Asante joins me on the line with more on what's happening in Parliament. So before we get the ruling of the Speaker, what was the response of the majority side to Mutaka's comment?
Emefa, so the majority side took the position that because the IGP has taken specific steps to conduct an investigation into the conduct of his men at the Islamic Senior High School, Parliament should wait until that investigation is concluded before Parliament can come in and take any further action.
Well, and that's the talk in Parliament on this. But why did the Speaker decline that parliamentary probe?
So the Speaker upheld the argument on the majority side that they do not want to conduct a concurrent investigation with the police. And indeed, previously, Parliament had referred similar conduct of the police to the Defense and Interior Committee. And so the Speaker took the position that the committee should visit the site, should talk to the police, and talk to all interested parties and report to the House next week.
That's parliamentary correspondent Kweku Asante there. We can now hear from the head of the Ghana Muslim Mission.
They chase them to their domain. Some of them, they beat them. Eyewitness, they show what they say. Some of the labs were picked. Can you imagine? This is highly, I don't want to use the word. People who are not, holding harm. We chase them to dormitories, we chase them to, chasing them. Some of them, teachers who want to intervene and so forth. Some of them, you even arrested.
That's the head of the Muslim Mission there. Let me take you now back to Accra, and this time to the Supreme Court. And it has, in a unanimous 9-0 decision, affirmed its April 13 decision that granted an injunction against Asin North MP James Gyakye Quayson. The court on April 13 restrained Mr. Quayson from holding himself as a member of parliament for that constituency. Michael Ankumanimfa, a resident of the constituency, had urged the court to give effect a Cape Coast High Court judgment and prevent a further breach of the Constitution by restraining the MP. Well, the Apex Court agreed with him, but lawyers for MP filed another application urging the court to set aside the injunction. Well, the court has dismissed this application. Court correspondent Joseph Akable has just returned from court. He joins me in studio. Joseph, first, tell us about the initial 7-member panel and which 2 judges joined.
And so the initial panel had Justices Jones Doche, Mariam Owusu, Gertrude Tokonu, and Professor Mensa Bonsu and Emmanuel Yonikulendi, forming the 5 that made the majority, while the 2 others were Justice Agnes Doji and Nene Amegacha. In terms of the 2 judges that joined, they were Justice Professor Kote and Justice Amadou Tanko.
So what arguments exactly were made for and against maintenance of this injunction? As
far as Mr. Chikata represents Gyakye Quayson was concerned, the court at the initial level got the decision wrong, as the decision resulted in a miscarriage of justice. Deputy Attorney General Diana Sonaba Dapad disagreed. She said that as far as the AG's office was concerned, the court's decision was right and a review was not something that you can simply request. And so the court agreed with her actually and maintained the injunction. So it means that he can no longer, or he can still not hold himself as a member of parliament, as was determined on April 13.
And we know there are other cases pending in relation to this MP, James Gyakye Quayson. What's the latest?
2 of them, the substantive matter in relation to the same issue about giving effect to that judgment, and the second one filed by the MP himself seeking to set aside a court of appeal judgment. Now, unfortunately, when the court finished the first one, the Chief Justice came later to announce that a member of the panel had just lost the father, and so that left the court with no choice but to adjourn proceedings, and it's been adjourned for another month. Mr. Chikata, who expressed condolences to the judge who had just lost their father, nonetheless asked the Chief Justice to ensure that they deal with this particular matter expeditiously.
That's court correspondent Joseph Akable. He loves his bread too, so it's a good time to talk about bread and how affordable is it. Well, the latest or the least you can spend on a loaf of bread now, I'm told, is 10 cedis. Bread sellers are predicting higher prices in the coming months. Mamiesi Nyameche Thompson has more in our Joy News Living Standard series.
Sacrificing my profits for my workers. If you didn't increase their salary, they will run away.
You enjoy 1 CD. This is 2 CDs, 3 CDs.
Formerly, I buy like 4 or 5, but now I reduce it to 2.
businesswoman and baker, Mareji. She's getting ready to prepare bread for her customers.
Doing buns bread. The pots, it takes 120 kilos. If it's big, maybe 100 loaves. Small size, maybe 200 loaves of bread.
She has built a bread factory, restaurant, and real estate with her astute business sense. But the bread business has changed in the last 2 years. Things have become unaffordable, forcing her to make drastic changes. Mareji has reduced production and raised bread prices. She believes it is the only way she can ensure her company's survival in these difficult economic times.
Next month, we will increase the price to go to maybe 14 cedis. Some are selling 20 cedis, 18 cedis. It's true. But my bread is affordable.
Her production costs continue to rise. According to her, the cost of all ingredients for making bread has skyrocketed. She has reduced production from 6,000 loaves per day to approximately 4,000 loaves per day. Aside from that, rising LPG and fuel prices are pinching hard.
Before bread will come out, it's not easy. Especially gas that we used to bake. It's not easy.
That's our Living Standard series. The full edition of the Bread series will be on Newsnight, also on all our social media platforms. We'll take a quick break here on the Midday News. We've been to the Islamic SHS campus. We've been talking about poor execution of crowd control operation by the police. When we return, we'll do sports and then also more pain for motorists plying the Akratama motorway as they are compelled to sit in traffic for hours. We'll also hear what you missed whilst you were a child and what you're doing to ensure that your child does not miss same.
I didn't have that privilege growing up with my dad, talking to him every day, and it was more like a yes sir, master situation. But I've given my children the opportunity to come to me anytime.
Happy Father's Day to you.
Hey, Efo, what brings you to my house this early morning? I hope all is well.
All is never well with me or my brother. After paying 3 times for the land for my project, the construction workers are giving me wahala. From material overestimation to small steering and excuses from artisans. Charlie, I'm tired though. Works that can be done in 2 weeks are done over 2 months. I have to pay them whether the work is good or not.
I told you so, Efo.
It's all because you're trying to become builders when you're corporate workers and business people. Edlom has products tailored to meet your needs. Villas 3 at Amrahia, where there are finished homes with very flexible payment terms. For more information, please visit edlomhousing.com. Send an email to sales@edlomhousing.com or simply call 0270-166-166. Edlom Housing, where spacious and quality homes cost less.
Yama Wakwaba, ba Akwaba Magic Busia, brand new channel, Tia Roba, Emuno Chiao, Ewo DSTV channel 149, and Go TV channel 108. Enianom Akwaba Magic Busia, Eddie Nidia Ghanaian programs mu Baufi, Ebit said the day, to have and to hold, and Yom Senior Cassia, series and a talk show, Bemo Wakao TV sets Nichi, Akwaba Magic Busia, Ewo DSTV access to your 50 Ghana cedis per and Go TV value to your 25 Ghana cedis per Ebusia Akwaba.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. And in sports this afternoon, the Black Stars of Ghana have finished third in the 2022 edition of the Kirin Cup after beating Chile on penalties. After end-to-end stuff in regular time, which saw Otoado's side finish the game with 9 men, the Stars secured a 3-1 win in the shootout to clinch the third position, courtesy of a big performance from Abdul Manaf Nuruddin. Well, the Black Stars are putting a much better performance in the game against the South Americans compared to their opening match against Japan, and thankfully so. And you can see the pictures there on myjoyonline.com. And Fred Smith is particularly excited about those pictures. Well, let me talk about school feeding now. And the Executive Director for Child's Rights International, Bright Pierre, has taken on government for what he says is the poor implementation of the school feeding program. It follows reports pupils are being fed with poor materials. We'll hear from him shortly, but first, though, a report from the Upper East Region correspondent, Albert Sorry.
We are here at the Apasanaba Primary and KG here in Sirigo, in the Bolgatanga municipality of the Upper East Region. This is one of the schools where the pupils are benefiting from the Ghana school feeding program. We understand that nearly 500 children are being fed under the program in this school. This structure you are seeing behind me is the kitchen where the food is normally cooked for the children. But today, for unknown reasons, they are not here. 2 fireplaces actually, but there's no fire at all. The caterer is not here today.
The food is not always plenty. Sometimes they cook, but sometimes they did not cook. But I don't know why today they have not cooked. Today they have not cooked, so I'm hungry.
The soup is not plenty. You eat the soup and leave only the banku. That's what I'm saying, we are not satisfied.
We understand that 2 different caterers actually take turns to cook for the children in this school. One of them is here.
We do run shift. This person will come and do 2-3 weeks, and the other 2 will come and cook.
Well, that's Albert Soris report, and we've been hearing from Child Rights International raising key concerns about government handling of the school feeding program, describing it as poor. Now, there's heavy traffic buildup on the Akratama motorway as rehabilitation works on the stretch enters day 2. Engineers at the Ghana Highways Authority have assured maintenance works will be completed within a week, we are told. My colleague Samuel Kojo-Brace has been engaging some frustrated motorists who have been in the gridlock for hours on the Akratama motorway.
The traffic is too much. The government should do something for us.
How long have you been in traffic?
Oh, for about an hour. Yesterday, I was in traffic for 5 hours. I was in the traffic for 5 solid hours.
I've been using this road for a long time, but I've never experienced it before. I don't know what is happening ahead of us.
How long have you spent in traffic today?
Almost 1 hour.
See, it is inconveniencing Ghanaians, and I think it's a good thing they are doing, but they should do it in the night, because the traffic here is too much. It's too much. Since 4 o'clock, 4 a.m. at dawn, there is traffic as at this time. It's inconveniencing Ghanaians, so we beg our leaders, they should do this thing at night.
Some motorists on the Akratama motorway obviously frustrated. And this week in our Drive Safe campaign, we're staying on how to stay focused whilst driving. Ignoring distractions while driving and maintaining focused on the road is key to driving safely. In order to keep focused while driving, you should keep 100% of your attention on driving at all times. No multitasking on the road. That's how you arrive safely.
Safe driving saves lives. Drive safe.
And we are building up to Father's Day this Sunday. Pretty much excited about it. And some fathers who say they did not enjoy the love of their fathers whilst growing up have vowed to ensure their children do not go through the same ordeal. For some, this has become part of their daddy code, which aids them in their parenthood. They've been sharing these nuggets as part of the Joy FM Father's Day build-up, dubbed the Real Daddy Code. Listen to gospel artist MOG, who's been sharing his story with us.
Daddies, them say we don't know how to marry, we just they worry.
I just teach them to walk in love because I need them to have that base and foundation so that when they go, they don't pick up certain attitudes from friends, you know, with the peer pressure and all that. Because I didn't have that privilege growing up with my dad talking to him every day, and it was more like a yes sir, master situation. But I've given my children the opportunity to come to me anytime. So yeah, that's my dad's goal for my children.
Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to everybody.
Happy Father's Day in advance to all fathers out there. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News. We are live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, and Kumasi is live on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 region. Once again, many thanks for being a part of it. You can get more news in the meantime on myjoyonline.com. Kumasi Islamic SHS top regional officers removed, 2 others interdicted as police admits poor tactics. Also Also, Supreme Court maintains injunction against Asin North MP. That and more on myjoyonline.com. We have Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil coming up next. You want to stay for that. I am Emefa Apawu. Have a good afternoon.
Hello, please, am I speaking to Miss Joanna Kuma?
Yes, please.
My name is Philip and I'm calling from MTN.